We are back. It has been too many weeks, far too many weeks. But we are back with Star Trek Europa. We're got hopefully a good show planned today. I've got some good stuff, at least. I am your host, as always, Jeff Harvey, and you can find me at all the places that you would normally find me. There's a link tree in the various places. There's a new show that launched earlier today. Took me a little while to edit it, but it's a new show called Against Boredom, and pretty fun so far. So I'm looking forward to doing more with that, and I hope everyone enjoys that episode. Those are coming out once every other week, just so that I have time to do them. Other than that, I don't have much to add to the get go here. Brian, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Brian. I'm playing Ensign Yezebeth Page, along with other characters. You can find me on SETI Alpha 4, where I'm making sweet, sweet love to Khan.
This is SETI Alpha 5. Evelyn, go ahead.
I'm Evelyn. I am playing Commander Dr. Dasavi Onayet. Forgot my own last name. You can find me at Caffeinatrix on TikTok, and you can also find me usually every other Sunday. That we're on a bit of a hiatus until May 1st over at St. Pete by Night on Twitch, which is our 90+ player Discord 24/7 voice RP server.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I'm on that server. I am technically a moderator on that server, but I rarely intervene, and I don't read a whole lot of everything because I just don't have time for that. That server is a lot. So
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like it is, and I peruse it every now and then, but some sacrifices have had to be made. So
legit.
Yeah, Jack, go ahead. You're up.
Yes, hello, I am Jack. I actually don't have too much to plug right now because I'm kind of between seasons. So interestingly enough, you guys all had more things to talk about than I do. But I have my own Twitch and YouTube channel. You can find me over at twitch.tv/The People's Ascension and on YouTube under the same name. My whole deal is I run a series called RPGs Uncovered, where I try to show just how quick and easy it is to learn a new TTRPG. Break down the core rules, tools, and themes of the game in as little as a few hours, put out small bite-sized tutorials of like 1 to 5 minutes for each little core concept you want to cover, and then do a fun like 4-session demonstration play show, which has always been a lot of fun. We have 2 seasons under our belt, a sci-fi show and a pastoral fantasy show. We are between seasons right now, and with April being funky and Easter and all that, the break is a little longer than normal, but we will be starting season 3 shortly once people actually start talking to me on a regular basis again. But in the meantime, you can go and check out all of the previous content over on our YouTube page, including a Cyberpunk Red charity stream that we did for Ukraine relief, which was super fun to play. We raised a lot of money. That is over on the YouTube. The quadruple matching donations is no longer active, but you can find a link to the Roll versus Evil page if you would like to make a donation toward their cause. Great people. That was actually founded by a few of the founders of Modifius, who of course made this fantastic game. So go check out Roll versus Evil. They're fundraising for all kinds of frontline workers and charity events and groups over in Ukraine. So go check that out. Watch some cyberpunk mayhem if that sounds cool for you. As for right now, I am playing Captain Orani Ambrose, as well as a number of other cool characters that I hope to have fun with today. Let's get out into space.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do a quick recap of the events of last session. It's been about a month since we played last, so I know there's some gap, not a gap in knowledge, but a gap in connectivity. So let's go ahead and do a quick recap of what was going on for those who actually watch live. So who's got anything? Have you got some stuff? You got some stuff. You always got some stuff.
So we had We discovered there were seven Class M planets in this system, which we are calling. So, Brian, you said earlier Basket of Plenty, but I thought you'd said Valley of Plenty, or was that just
Valley of
my-
Valley of
Okay.
Plenty, and the system that you guys are currently in is the one you have temporarily at
Yeah,
least
that was the whole
named.
cluster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The Valley of Plenty is the whole cluster, and the
Mhm.
system that you guys are currently in, you have nicknamed the Stone Cairn system.
Yes. All right. So, wanted to make sure that my inner Witcher fan hadn't misheard that whole thing for the last two
Yeah,
episodes.
no, it's Valley of Plenty, as in going to your Witcher.
Exactly. All right. So we went down to one of the planets and discovered there seemed to be some sort of docking station. There were several markings etched into the stonework. We found some sort of bio runoff that matched or was similar to the DNA of the Aren, which were our space whales from forever and ever ago. And there was a lot of modern tech inside the, I want to say the caves. Were we in caves? I think caves. That we did not touch because it would have been very rude. And then we also had the other big highlights of the episode was the ongoing ethical discussion about Eva and the SSH and their sentience and what we shouldn't do without their permission.
There was also some discussion as to the derivative or the origin of some of the text that you had discovered, and that it was tied somewhat to the station in some derivative ways, to Halloran Station.
Mhm.
So, anybody else have anything I want to add to that? No, good. Go ahead.
Just that we've been doing this for a couple days. We've got labs set up to handle the planetary surveying, and
Yep. So the Europa has been has spent the last several days, indeterminate number of days, probably about a week or so, doing data collection and sampling, and Varen has been down, as excited as Vulcans getting information, the anthropological information from the planet. Everyone's been collecting the data they need. You have discovered a number of life forms on the planet that are like moderate predatory creatures, nothing much larger than dogs, unless you get into the sea life, and then there's some larger stuff. But for the most part, it's a docile planet. At least the planet that you have nicknamed at the moment, Berry Bush. You also named 3 moons that had the repair facilities on them, and there you've discovered little to no additional life other than insects and small invertebrates and some very small vertebrate creatures, like voles and mice and things like that sized. Not a lot of large predators there. Some avian, but for the most part, it has been a Starfleet officer's dream to be able to explore a world and have new scientific things to be named and all of that. Whilst you're on the bridge, let's go ahead and throw out, let's say Elizabeth, probably, since she's the operations person, Nona. I can't get her to appear on the screen. There we go. Twice even. And then let's see who we've got as our science officer. We got O'Connor. That'll work. Well, we'll start with those two. See when we go from there. So you've been running a few scans in the system. One of the things that has been of particular interest is the space lanes, quote unquote, of the RN. And as you are conducting some scans, you guys can go ahead and give me a science roll. We'll start the session out with a big science roll. You have advantage because the amount of time you spent here, plus your science labs and all that stuff. So you get one you get 1 lower difficulty, which makes difficulty 0, and you'll get 1 additional momentum for all the time you guys have spent doing research. And then you guys can go ahead and give me a basic science roll. Whatever stats you guys want to use, whatever floats your boat most for the system, for the roll. And then Europa's not loading, so I can't roll.
Science.
I can go ahead and roll sensors.
You want to roll the sensors and I'll roll the science?
Yeah, well, why don't you go ahead and do the science roll, and then the ship can assist on the science, and I can assist. Why don't we do it that way?
Yeah, you can assist, and then I will roll this the ship right now. Since it finally loaded.
I'm going to guess none of my focuses apply here.
Ship gets complication. The main roll there is 3 successes. So you have. Why does it show that 1 like that? That's weird. I can't see what you actually rolled. It won't show me. A 13. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway,
well,
that's.
I rolled challenge dice. That's probably why. Instead of task dice.
Oh, I was looking at more what Brian rolled. Brian's die roll is a different color.
Oh.
But yeah, you should probably not roll challenge dice to do this roll. Been playing this game for 5 years, Ev. Come on.
You switched me over to a whole new system.
Try that roll again.
Yep. All right. Try this again.
There you go. So 3 successes total, with the ship giving a complication, which I will figure out later. I don't know. Figure something out. That gives you 3 successes. We can bank those if you'd like, or we can ask questions. But what you see coming in on the sensors at a distance in the quote-unquote space lanes that are on the outside of the Karen system appears to be the RN. There appears to be a small pack of 4 RN coming near to system. They are actually you detected them fairly quickly as they are not at warp or have just recently left their whatever FTL capabilities are and are entering into the system.
Elizabeth will let out a small gasp. Oh, wow. Look who just arrived.
We did not add the picture of the RN to this new game and to the new program. That's my bad. So, yes.
I think Silva, if she's at the helm, will take the initiative to move the ship a bit closer to them to get in better scanning range.
Sure.
But not too close.
Right.
Don't want to disturb them.
They're moving at pretty good speed as far as subwarp goes, and they appear to be headed towards the planet that you guys had. J5 is, I think, what you guys designated it, which is the large gas giant.
Yeah.
Heading in that direction. After a few seconds, as you move a little closer, there appears to be a number of warp signatures coming out of. Oh, good Lord. I forgot. You guys can't hear that. So, when somebody subscribes or anything like that on Twitch, it makes the noise, and I hear it, but I don't think you guys do. And then it shows up over my face, so it scared me. Anyway, several warp signatures appear on a quick glance from the security station. You acquire approximately 40 targets. The largest of which is about a scale 3, and the smallest of which is about a scale 1. There's mostly scale 1 ships.
Who has the con right now, do you think?
Uh,
Should we decide that amongst ourselves?
yeah, it's whoever you want.
Mills makes sense. Or not Mills.
It's like,
O'Connor. Sorry.
okay.
O'Connor.
I was like, why are we putting the security officer on the
Sorry.
con?
O'Connor.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Lieutenant, sensors are picking up a bunch of signatures.
Appreciate the field promotion, but yes, I see them.
Oh, sorry. Should we call down to the captain? I'm sure he don't want to be made aware.
Captain to the bridge. Or I suppose I probably should just. Captain, we have information. You don't need to come to the bridge.
The captain's always got to come to the bridge. You never tell anybody what anything is over the radio. They have to go there.
Captain, you can go wherever you like. I have no one to tell you where you can and cannot go.
Ambrose will start his way towards the bridge because new information is, something's about to happen. He has that Hellion tingling in his weird eyebrow ridges. What's going on up there?
We followed the space lanes and found more of the space whales. There are lots of different warp signatures in the area.
You bring up on
Very good. I know the science departments all have a number of instruments to get scans done.
Yes, sir.
But yes, those ships are also entering system and approaching in the same wake as the Ahren. As you are relatively close to I'm not relatively close to the Ahren, but not close. A lot of these smaller ships, which you can see right there, the Tatura, which are one-manned sized ships, about 24 of them break off and start heading towards the Europa. And we'll go ahead and do our intro.
That's fine.
Clearly Mills is during training right now. That's why she's not on the bridge. So with that, if you want to go ahead and do your, I don't know if you had an impromptu captain's log that you wanted to do prior to going back to the bridge and whatnot, you can. If not, we can just skip that and go right to.
We covered no, we can continue. I had something I was working on, but we kind of bypassed a lot of that with what we've already done. Yeah.
All right. So yes, there's about 24 ships about scale 1. They're a little bit bigger than a normal shuttlecraft. Are heading towards the Europa. Also, a couple of the larger ones, this one down here, are also headed towards Europa, and that's about a size. The picture does not show a good representation. It's about a scale 3 ship.
And what is the Europa?
I believe a 4.
Scale 4. No, 5.
Or 5. It's big. It's bigger than this. All these ships are smaller than Europa.
It's 4. That's right.
It's the smallest class of actual starship you can be. These new ones are these ones that are just coming in the system without being shuttlecraft. So
Yeah, that's 3.
yes. So at the moment, I think O'Connor was at her station, and I think the chief of the watch, as it were, would be Elizabeth.
So Elizabeth will take it upon herself to initiate contact. That seems like it'd be proper protocol right now.
Of course it is.
I mean, hold on, real quick. I want to settle. We have informed the captain that there are warp-capable ships, right?
You have informed the captain. It appears the captain was informed that there are warp-capable space whales.
All right. Well, then let's catch him up. I figured it happened off screen between while the theme song was going on.
Probably should have, but we
Well,
were busy
how is-
harassing O'Connor instead.
How about we establish now that it was what happened? We don't need to. I don't think that's something we need to play out personally.
So instead of the languid pace that Ambrose was taking to come see the space whales because they're space whales, he will instead pick up his pace because there's ships incoming.
Right. So Elizabeth is you're ordering for opening hailing frequencies?
Yeah.
All right.
Seems appropriate.
Go ahead.
I'll send out a interstellar greeting. Attention. Attention. Attention, incoming vessels. This is the USS Europa of the United Federation of Planets. We're here on a mission of discovery. Please, please introduce yourselves.
You get no response at first. They're making their way towards you. They're the smaller ships, the very small ones that are about shuttlecraft size. They are moving towards you at a fairly high impulse speed. The large ships, or the 2 large ones that are moving towards you, are moving at probably 1/4 impulse, so not very fast.
Elizabeth will turn her head to O'Connor.
Perhaps go to yellow alert. They look like they're coming in kind of hot.
Well, I was just about to ask O'Connor if could we detect if they have shields up or not. That could, if they don't have their shields up, I don't see a reason to go to yellow. But if they do, then yeah.
Hey,
So
I'll see what I can see.
that would also probably be a Mills thing if you wanted to have Mills get on bridge.
Sure.
At first, so when you scan the larger ships, you notice that there is an energy signature that is shields, for a lack of a better description. They're not real powerful. The little ships do not appear to have any kind of energy deflector shields of any kind. Well, they have, basic deflectors, so they don't, space particles don't go through them, but they are not, they do not appear to have any kind of like energy dampening shields. They do appear to be armed though.
Elizabeth will consult with her past memories, and I think she can hear the general going, better to be safe than sorry. And she's going to say, go to yellow alert.
The ship enters into yellow alert about the time that Ambrose enters the bridge. I suppose Mills is probably with him. That way we've got the chief security officer and the captain aboard bridge. Not sure what the XO is doing. Might be in sickbay at the moment.
Elizabeth will quickly sum up what has occurred in the meantime. Captain, the 3 ships approaching, relatively small. They don't seem to be, they are not, their shields are down if they have shields, but they are armed.
So it's about 24 of the small ships, not 3.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I think you just misheard me earlier. There's 3 of the large, or two of the large ships and a bunch of the little ships moving.
Gotcha.
I think you just misunderstood me, which is legit.
Two dozen ships incoming, Captain.
Yeah, they come up on screen, and those are the things you see. 3 different kinds of ships.
And she'll add you have the con. I'm sure that's necessary part to establish chain of command.
Right. As the small ships approach, as they get within your weapons range, they still have not fired. They still don't have shields. Your mills can do a quick scan, and you note that they do have energy and projectile weapons. Both size ships do. And the little ships begin circling. They don't attack. They just, at that range, they begin circling the Europa and are flying in different directions, circling around it. It kind of begins to sort of confuse the sensors a little bit, but what are you gonna do? No one has fired yet.
I'll add that we've opened hailing frequencies, but I've gotten no response.
Okay. It's unlikely that we have any spoken information on their language, so it may take some time. We should continue. I'll open the hailing frequencies again. Greetings out there. I've heard that we have introduced ourselves already. However, I'm sure, having not met each other previously, that it will take some time to establish communications. I am Captain Arani Ambrose of the USS Europa. We bear you no ill will. We are on a mission of peace and exploration. We would like very much to meet you, and if you would like, exchange some information and culture.
Crash. Probably O'Connor's memory, because Evelyn doesn't remember. Didn't the RN have some sort of language that we sort of pieced together?
The RN had the sort of
I know they had the telepathy.
yeah, that was mostly what you guys were using.
Okay.
And some
I thought
clicks
there
and
was
sounds as
also-
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not, I mean, these people are obviously not RN though. I mean, they're
No. All right. I'll run in character with what I'm thinking.
I gotcha.
Sir, it's possible if with the docs that we found on the planet, if they're using the RN, that maybe they speak the RN's language.
They might recognize some calls. It's a good idea. Yes, let's send out an RN call, something very simple, a simple greeting.
Okay.
I don't know if that's something I can pull up on my armrest, or if that's a whole science roll we need to do.
We don't need to roll for it. It's fine.
Okay.
You guys have that information in your system. You've done it before.
Cool.
So you send out the signal. The RN themselves actually adjust course slightly. You know that these other larger ships that were not moving towards you, there's 2 or 3 of those. What I have listed here is the harvesters. They are beginning to move in on one of the larger RN. After a few seconds, the Tatoras, the small ships that are circling you, they disengage and begin heading towards the RN. Whereas one of the larger ships, not larger ships, but they're all scale 3. The bigger ones are all scale 3. But one of the warships here stops relatively close and then begins hailing.
Put it on screen.
It'll do so. Do it. Roll 20. I kill you. Roll 20. So that is the face that appears on screen.
You shoot that over to our side?
Yeah. I forget that it doesn't do it automatically. I don't know how to do that.
You need to put it on the token layer.
Token layer.
If you switch your layer to the token layer, it'll do it automatically in the future.
Yeah, I don't even know I don't even know what the token layer is. So
Okay, no worries.
I'll show you later.
he's upside down now because I can't figure out how to make him go back side up either. But whatever, it is what it is. Oh, here we go. Flip. Can you guys see it now?
We're not actually on that map. You need to
No.
put us.
You guys
Yeah,
are
we're on
killing
a
me over
different
here.
scene.
Killing me over here. There you go.
There we go. All right,
Um.
cool.
All right. So you should be able to see the 3 ships, the dude, and then your guys' tokens. Right. Everything's good.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
He comes on screen. Starship Europa. I am Ledan of the people. What are you doing in our system? In this system. They do not say our system. In this system.
Ladon, it is a pleasure to speak with you. First contact moments are something that we prize in Starfleet. As I said, we are a people of peace and exploration. This is a new area of space to us, and we are simply having a look around. We would certainly not want to infringe on any claimed territory, however.
There's many space for all. You are welcome. Do not interfere with our hunt, and you shall be welcome in this space.
That is very kind of you. I would certainly not interfere with your own activities. From what I understand, the limited sensors that we've taken, your people follow we call them Aren, the creatures out there. You hunt them?
We do. I can explain more to you once we are complete, if you wish. I would look forward to having a meeting, perhaps over some sort of meal. I assume your people have ingestions.
Yes, sharing a meal with new friends is a custom among our people as well. I will let you get back to your work, but afterwards, if you would like to join me on my ship, we have quite a galley.
We shall meet you aboard Sharol. The world, and you get a coordinate. This world is essential for the next part of our task. And then he kind of nods in a curt but professional, respectful manner. And then the screen goes out, and the ship begins to turn back towards the Ahren, which you see the small ships. Roll 20, yeah. The small ships, the Tatura ships, begin attacking and driving the one Ahren away from the others. They begin to separate the Ahren. The weapons they're using don't appear to do a whole lot of damage to the Ahren. Like, they don't really appear to be hurting it at all, just really irritating them.
Make sure we get sensors of what's going on here.
After a few minutes of that, one of the large harvester ships moves in and fires a weapon, a projectile weapon at the Ahren, which almost immediately unalives the Ahren. And then it moves in, and the Tatora move the Ahren closer. The harvester ship begins sending out slightly larger than man-sized. Looks like exosuits almost. Not quite as big as a worker bee, but pretty close. And they begin harvesting the Ahren.
How big are the Aren again?
They're fucking huge. Really, really,
like
really
on
big.
ship scale level?
I think I had them at like a 7 or an 8.
Oh, they're even bigger than our ship. Okay.
Yeah, they're huge.
They're massive.
It's like
Okay.
Borg cube size.
Yeah, they're up there in the Borg
Oh.
cube sphere.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gigantic. Now the biggest ones you've encountered thus far are that big, which is about what the biggest one here is. They also go down to quite a smaller. Like, the smallest one here is probably about a size 4.
Did they take the big one, or did they take?
They took the biggest one.
They took the biggest one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yezebeth will comment, they're going to be at this a while, I guess.
Yeah. There's a grand total of 6 of the harvester ships, which begin to move in and start working. The 2 big warships, of which there's only the 2, take up sentry positions, and then the Tatora, are just kind of floating around. They don't appear to be doing a whole lot of anything at this point. They go in and out of the larger warships, but they don't. It's hard to keep track of how many there are, but they're not doing a whole lot else.
They're
I'd like to-
skirmishers.
I'd like to run some math real quick
Yeah.
in character. How long will it take them to consume the RM?
At the rate and efficiency that the harvesters appear to be doing what they're doing, it'll probably take probably a grand total of like 4 or 5 days to completely dismantle the RN. But they probably, since they appear to be going after specific portions of the creature first, it's likely that they do it in stages, and that the primary things they need, the most important things, will be done fairly quickly within like a few hours.
Okay. And I'd imagine the meat doesn't go bad because space is sterile.
Right.
So,
And it freezes, it's but yeah, there's as you're watching them do this large process, what do you guys want to do? Anyone else have any other scenes they want to do mid this?
Silva will ask the captain, should I set course for the rendezvous point?
They'll be at this for a while. I'd be interested in seeing what our sensors can tell us about the process, about the biology of the RN, about how they handle this hunt of theirs. And they surely took down this massive creature quite easily.
The harrowing was really when they were doing it to us, they were messing with our sensors.
A common skirmisher tactic.
Yep.
Well, we can sit and observe for a little bit here, and then yes, we should set course for the planet and at least get an eye on where it is we'll be meeting.
So the world that the coordinates that they sent you, your ship translates them fairly quickly, as you've got access to the written language that they use, and several days of going at it. Shorl, Shorl, is the world that you guys have nicknamed Blue Bush, or Berry Bush, I mean.
Mm-hmm. That was the one with the farm, right?
Yes, the one that had the large fields, of which you've discovered a number on the planet after doing several days of investigation.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
So you guys are doing that, continuing to watch and gather information. Does anybody have any scenes they want to do whilst that is ongoing?
Before we get to that, what was the name of the dude again?
Ladan.
Ladan.
Ledon.
L''DAN. Ladan.
Ledon.
You could pronounce this spell however you want. I just made the names up today, so because the names I had written down earlier I can't find.
And he referred to his people simply as the people.
Correct, the people.
Okay.
He was Ledon of the people.
Yes. And any claims to ownership that I have thus far made he did not make. That's just that's stupid American speech.
So we should probably pick who's going on the first contact. Would the captain be leading the team himself?
Yes, Ambrose would very much like to lead a first contact mission.
Sounds like a plan. Who would you bring along with you?
I think it would make sense to leave Commander Desavi on ship unless there's an argument she would like to make against that.
Trying to
Would
think.
argue my skills would be beneficial. However, both of us going down to the planet, even though it is in theory a peaceful mission, is not a wise decision.
With the number of With the number of other vessels in this system and the capabilities we've seen from them, I'd like somebody to remain on ship with a fairly high degree of command experience.
So
Let
Tong.
us. So Tong, yeah, hooray! Lieutenant Tong, field promotion to captain.
Admiral Tong.
Admiral Tong. Yep. Yeah, who do we want to bring?
Who wants to go, I suppose, is the question.
Yeah.
I think
Captain, I would recommend you
Mills
take
and Yesbeth are always my two
Mills
go-to.
and Specialist Varen.
that would cover a lot of bases.
You might be rather put out if you leave her here.
Yeah. Yeah, Mills, Cherka, and Varen.
All right. And then obviously some security people.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any scenes that you wanted to do prior to that? Anything aboard ship that you wanted to do, Tong or O'Connor or Kostra or Koba or anybody else that wants to do anything before that?
I would love. I think Kendall is going to try to get herself onto the mission. She wants to do a first contact. But out of character, I want it to fail. But I want to play out her trying.
Who's she going
Who would be a good foil for that, do you think?
Well, I mean, the person you'd probably most likely go to get on the mission would be Dasavi.
Yeah, I think it would be. Let's cause problems on purpose.
But I feel that Sai was very in character as Kendall.
Oh yeah.
realized.
As soon as she realizes that she's gonna have to go to her mom for this, she's
Yeah.
so so she'll go and she'll commander.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to make it clear, I'm not asking for special treatment or anything like that. But I was hoping I could go down to the surface with the first contact team. I've never been part of a first contact mission before.
Quite an opportunity. I'll ask the captain what he thinks about adding someone else to the mission. We don't want to overwhelm them.
Is Ev really quiet to everyone else, or is that just me? Sorry, I got
Yeah, you're a little quiet.
I turned my microphone way down because apparently it was popping. Is it still popping?
No, I'm not hearing it.
No, you're good.
Is the volume better?
Yeah.
There's a little popping, but the volume is better.
Yeah, it's fine. It sounds good the way
we'll
it is.
go with it. Yeah.
Well, now you're not talking at all.
Now you're not talking at all.
All right, now the headset really needs to go away.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we good?
I think
Yeah.
if you turn your head, it gets too far away from the sensor or something.
It shouldn't. The sensor is like right here. It is
Yeah.
less than a foot away from me. It was a refurb Turtle Beach, and I think I'm just going to give up on it and buy a razor.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
some of the opportunity.
yes, it is a very unique opportunity, and I will ask the captain what he thinks about adding someone else to the mission. We don't want to overwhelm them, but it would be a shame to miss such an opportunity.
Thanks. To be honest, I wasn't expecting that answer.
I trust you know how to comport yourself. You are level-headed, and well, I hope some of my skills at diplomacy have rubbed off on you over the years.
I mean, I went to the academy like anybody else. I'm not a child anymore.
Indeed. We'll see what the captain has to say.
Would you want to just call the captain into this conversation, or do you want to have that one-on-one?
I think it's more interesting if you have it while you're here, while she's here.
Go ahead. Have him shoot you down in person. All right, we'll call the captain in. Captain, there is an interest in joining the away team if you have a moment.
Fair. Very well, I'll be right there. So a little small talk, and Captain walks in. Kendall is an ensign?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Ensign? Commander?
She'll stand straighter.
Ensign Onayet has taken the initiative to request to join the away team. She has never had a first contact mission before. On the one hand, it's quite the opportunity. On the other hand, I do understand that these teams should be carefully selected and should not be too large. I wanted your input.
Ensign Onayet, do you remember the courses at the academy covering first contact missions?
I do, Captain. I do, sir. I passed first contact initiatives with flying colors.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you're well aware then that first contact missions are about the most difficult and most dangerous missions a Starfleet officer can embark on.
I understand that, Captain. I'm absolutely ready.
I know a lot of graduated cadets who have claimed to have been absolutely ready for a number of situations. I'm sure you did very well in your course studies. However, the real thing is far more variable. I appreciate your initiative, and I would like to engage your interest, but not on the away team. I need to keep this mission small. I need to keep this mission with crew members that I know I can rely on in this capacity and who have experience on away missions dealing with other cultures.
Her face takes on a odd quality. I don't think you can tell by her appearance how she feels about this.
Oh, this is a good point, because Ambrose can reach out with his empathy.
You feel nothing when you reach out to with your empathy. You sense like a ball of hate. Like this isn't to say like it's different from how it usually is. This is how it usually is, but it just feels wrong. It's like a black hole of mind squiggles.
Rage.
With her flaw, that's what he's getting. He's not, or is it just the telepathy?
That's the telepathy. That's her condition, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But her face is inscrutable too. So it's
Yeah, he'll give a side eye and raised eyebrow to Desavi real quick. However, as I said, I would like to engage your interest in this matter. I will make the full debriefings available to you, and I would very much like you to accompany one of our sensor technicians and keep an eye on the happenings down planet side. And perhaps if this first contact mission goes well and further contact, and we are invited to further contact, we can introduce you to these new life forms.
She says stiffly, if you think that is the best course of action, Captain, then I suppose I have no choice.
I'll do one of those very slow, drawn-out nods. Don't worry, Ensign. We're out in completely uncharted space. I'm sure there will be plenty of opportunity for first contact missions. Let's get you first contact with this sort of mission.
Yes, sir. If that was all, am I excused?
Dismissed, Ensign.
She'll turn around on her heels, leave the room with a swish.
Swish.
An immediate pan to Dasavi. We're not hearing you again.
What did you get?
Nothing. Absence, as opposed to nothing.
Something. Something happened from the last time I saw her. When she first came on ship, I tried to speak with her and found myself reeling in pain. I haven't tried since.
I assume this is not a normal Betazoid part of growing up.
No. Usually losing our telepathy is something that happens only to the oldest of us. And it's a very traumatic experience.
And in your capacity as first officer and chief medical officer, what have you done about this information?
I referred her to our counselor. He has not been lax in her performance, and I don't know. She's declined assistance. She's been performing her duties as assigned. Unless that changes, ethically, there's not much I can do. She has the right to refuse treatment. If it's not interfering with her job.
My concern is that this was not on her record, which means it was not something that was previously detected, nor something that she felt the need to bring up. She is, of course, entitled to make decisions of her own body, but I would classify this as a disability, and Starfleet needs to be made aware of the disabilities of its officers. That's saying nothing to, as you said, a possibly very traumatic experience. I believe this is the sort of thing in your capacity as my number one that you should have brought to my attention.
Right. I handed it off to the ship's counselor to remove myself from the situation as her mother. In an attempt to be objective, and
You're the executive officer on this ship. My number one. You cannot remove yourself from a situation if you are unable to command a family member as your role as commander. That's something we will have to evaluate.
it was a misstep on my part. One I will correct.
Regardless, you're right, she has the right to refuse service, but in doing so, she may also compromise her career. There are situations in which refusing counseling, refusing medical treatment is justification for being transferred away from a frontline position, as we are in the Europa. She's handling her duties. You're right. There's only so much we can do, but I want you to stay on top of this.
Should we wrap up the scene?
I think there is an awkward, just sort of, we're both trying to figure out how to deal with this situation. We can fade from there.
Okay. It seemed like there was one more sentence to be said, but I think an awkward end also works.
Mm-hmm.
It going unsaid might actually be more beneficial in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Several hours pass. You've made your way towards the planet to beam down for your first contact encounter. The remaining 3 Aren have arrived at the planet they were going to, which is what you've classified as J5. They appear to be collecting stuff from the planet itself, the gas giant, and sort of just going about their giant space whaley business there. The main Aren that was harvested is still being tended to by the larger ships. Several over the course of the time that you were doing things, several of the smaller ships were going in and out of both the main warships and the harvester ships. They were going back and forth between them, probably ferrying various things back and forth between the ships. And then a number of the small ships went to the moons around J5, where they then proceeded to land. Usually no more than 3 or 4 at a time, but they would land, and several hours later, it's only been a couple hours, but 45 minutes to an hour or so later, one would leave and the one would land, that kind of thing. After some time, the larger warship, which still larger is relative, it's all still size 3, began moving towards the planet and a message was sent out to all the ships in the area, all the people's ships that. Hang on, I have the name here. What's Rana Ladan Tajur will be arriving on the planet to begin the festivities.
That name again?
It's Ladan Tajur, but Rana is a title.
Oh, gotcha.
Rana appears to be a title.
Do we have enough in our database to determine what that title may be equivalent to? Captain, Admiral, President?
Leader is
Dictator.
the closest word. Chief leader, something along those lines. Boss man. It doesn't really equate to necessarily a military title so much as like a political title. Prime Minister, maybe.
Okay.
Can I spend time on the route to, because we had some time between.
Yeah.
Could Elizabeth have created an agenda or a plan for this first contact meeting that could give us advantage?
I wouldn't say an agenda or a plan, but possibly some additional research into similar cultures from what you're seeing. I could go with that.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'll do that.
yeah, go ahead and give the roll.
Okay.
Who's working on that?
Elizabeth?
I'm certain
Is
someone could
that
assist.
is that something you would engage our resident anthropologist with?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you
Can
can.
she assist on this?
She can assist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And assist is only one die, correct?
Correct.
Right. Reason science?
Sure.
That's what I rolled. Yeah.
I would also accept insight science.
Too late. Complication.
Yeah.
We did get one. We did get one point of advantage.
What was the advantage for? Oh,
Background info.
yeah. So yeah, you guys succeed, but there is a complication which I will
Maybe we got some info wrong.
Yeah, we'll see what presents itself as we go.
We offend them by shaking their hands, something like that.
Right. So you beam down to the planet. First of all, the people, they don't appear to go to the planet by beaming. They definitely take small crafts down. The only other small craft you're seeing is the little one that I've showed you guys before, the Tatora.
Okay.
So everybody's basically, there's a bunch of these going down, like probably another dozen of these going down to the planet. The large warship that you're seeing, the class